Alright, it's December 30th, 2012, and I wanted to do a quick update on my 36-gallon bow front tank. Right now, I do have a canister pump set up on the tank, and I've got the eShop's protein skimmer, hang-on back skimmer, as well as just a basic Fluval heater, and I've got two Hydor Coralia nano pumps, 425 gallon on either side of the tank, and I just set them both up the other day. I have a wave maker on order. I should be getting that any day now to kind of mess with the flow a little bit, but I have the actinics turned on right now just to kind of appreciate the color in the tank. The reflection from my window is not going to help any. There is my frog spawn coral here. I've kind of adjusted where he's at compared to my last video, and he seems to be a lot happier here. You know what? I'm going to take a quick sweep through the tank just to get the colors, and then I'm going to turn the daylights back on because the glare is a little bit too difficult. Okay, let's get these daylights back on. Okay, so again, 36-gallon tank. Let's go back over here to my frog spawn coral. I like this spot better. He's been in this part of the tank since I've gotten him, but I've been adjusting him, and he seems pretty open and happy right now, so I think this is the spot for him. Got a little bridge of star polyps there, and here is my Kenya tree coral. The tank is very bubbly right now. I just fed the tank, so the protein skimmer is going a little crazy with the bubbles. But again, my Kenya tree coral. My last video, I was talking about the right side not doing so well, and I figured out what it was. There was some fishing line tied around the rock base there, and as that right side began to grow, the fishing line that was wrapped around the rock was basically cutting into its flesh. So I've got the fishing line cut off, and hopefully the poor guy can recover. Yeah, this focus is not the best in the world, but you know, make do. There on top of the tank, I've got a green star polyp colony. I need to mess with the flow in the tank a little more. I'll do that when the wave maker control device comes in. I've been playing with it, but you know, if I get the right amount of flow onto the star polyp at one point, then the Kenya tree has too much flow. So once I have the device, I will, you know, consider moving the Kenya tree perhaps, or, you know, well, I'm just going to play it by ear. Here's my nice big Zoa colony, very happy in this spot, and to the right of it is my Montipora digitata. It's been glued there for a brief amount of time, but it seems to be happy. You can't really tell from here, but it does have some nice white tips. So it seems to be happy. It's bigger than it was when I got it, and I've got to get a better camera so I can zoom in a little bit better. I'm gonna see how the distance between these two corals works out over the next few months, and make a decision on if I need to move anything. You can see my clown there, as well as my blue hippo and coral beauty. My hippo, he's going to eventually outgrow this tank, unfortunately. But for right now, I've had him since he was about the size of a dime, so I'm keeping him in there for now. Here on this corner, I used to have the toadstool coral, but I did bring him back to my LFS. It just wasn't the right thing for my tank. That's the Duncan coral, though, that I saved from Petco. It was on its deathbed, and since I've put it in this tank, it seems really happy. It eats really well, and it's got several new heads around the base that are growing. There's a few there. So it's much happier in this tank, and I just put him over here in this corner yesterday. So really happy with it. You can see my arrow crab right there underneath, and he's probably been tapping at my feather duster, which is why he's kind of closed in a little bit. And I guess here's a view of the tank on the side. The fish hanging out in the back at the moment. But back over here to the front of the tank, I've got a nice little red blasto coral, and its tentacles are extended right now. There, you can kind of see it there. Seems to be happy. This is another one that I saved from Petco. Wasn't looking too good, and it seems to be much happier in this tank. And there's my diamond goby. He's a really cool little guy. Cleans my sand up. Moves the sand up quite a bit, but he's pretty funny. He'll move, you know, shells around. He's kind of created a little cavern over here. He's got a hole right there that he goes into, and he's built up this side full of sand, so that's the only opening. So he's kind of a trip. There's my torch coral. I did have 2 torch corals in here, but one of them suffered a bad decision of mine. I put some buffer, pH buffer in the tank, and didn't fully dissolve the crystals, so basically some of the crystals fell into the other torch coral and melted it away, so I won't be using that buffer ever again. Here's my trach brain coral. My last video I was a little concerned about him, but after talking to my LFS, it's probably, I was concerned about that white spot there in the corner. I thought it might be detaching, but my LFS told me that he's probably just growing. But he eats really well, he looks really happy, he expands and contracts, tentacles come out, so he's pretty happy, I think. This is my furry green mushroom. Can't really appreciate the color until the actinics are on. And he's got some new buds that are forming along the bottom as well, so I think he's happy right there. And I've got, I believe that's called a horn coral, SPS horn coral. I did have him set up higher on the tank, but one of my Mexican turbo snails toppled him over last night, so there's a little bit of a chip on him. You can see it right there on the bottom. I'm going to create a new pedestal for him and you know, set him up on a bigger rock so it's actually stable for him. I might do that later today, but I've only had him for about a week and a half, so I need to get him situated in the tank. But that is the update on my 36 gallon. I've had it set up since July. Any comments are appreciated. If I've misspoken at all, your advice or correction is welcome. And again, I'm just setting this up for documentation of my process, and so I have something to compare it to. But again, I welcome any comments or advice. Thank you.